Hello and welcome to the Void XRC video. Thanks for tuning in. So if you guys saw my last video on the HBX thruster, it was the first run video, you would know that I wasn't very impressed. I thought it was pretty slow and definitely thought it needed a brushless upgrade. So that's what we're going to work on today. So for the motor, I've got this Turnigy 3700 kV motor that's been in my parts bin for a few years at least. So that's the motor we're going to install. We're going to use it with this Race Star 35 amp ESC. I'm on focus. I don't know if it will play well with this motor, but I'm going to give it a try. And then for the receiver, just got this little GT2R for my the model has slipped my mind. But anyways, cheap receiver for a cheap radio. And so that's the only components we need to install, since this thing uses standard servos with 3-wire connections, so that's nice. So we just need to remove this motor, remove speed controller receiver unit, and then we can install the other stuff. So that's not too big of a deal. All I've done so far is taken some screws out of the bottom to release this, and taking the cover off. That's about it. So let's just get started. I guess we're going to have to remove this pinion gear here before we take the motor out. And that pinion gear's definitely been thread locked on there. Well, oh, I'm going to end up stripping my screwdriver or the screw in there. So one little trick I found when I've got a screw that I can't get out, and it's the screwdriver just barely slightly slips in there, I found that a good Torx driver can get them out, can get the hex nuts out. So let's give that a try. That's gripping it a lot better than the hex did. Still stripping though. You know, I think in order to get this motor out, I'm going to have to cut something, because this is just, yep, that set screw is in there and I am not getting it out. So there is no way that I can get this set screw out. So we're going to have to go to something a little more drastic. Well, I guess I'll see you guys in a few minutes when I figure this out. So the only decently easy way I can figure to get this motor out is to just cut the shaft right down in there. That way I can get the motor out. Doesn't fix my pinion problem, because I was going to reuse this pinion, but once it's out of there, maybe I can get that set screw out and I might be able to save the pinion. If not, I guess I'll be ordering a new pinion. This will probably be a little bit loud, just so you're warned that it, could be loud. So let's just get cutting. Alright, there we go. Get the pinion off, so hopefully I'll be able to get that set screw out of there and reuse this pinion. If not, I guess I'm getting a new pinion. But now, I can go ahead and get this motor out. Well, let me just get my camera gear back inside and we'll continue the video. And now that the pinion is off, we can start taking the motor out. Hopefully that's the only screw that was hard and we won't find any more. Well, the motor mount screws come out really easy, that's for sure. Or at least the first one did. Second one is too. So the motor is now free. Now we can pry up the old speed controller. on-off switch out of there. So there's the old electric combo. So now that that's out of there, you can see there's lots of room in there. Put my receiver down in there. Or sorry, the speed controller. The receiver's probably going to sit on top. It's pretty lightweight once you get those few heavier things out of there. Let's go ahead and see what we do to need to get the motor mounted. So now it takes bigger screws on the motor. I believe they're M3. I'm going to need to double check that though. So I think I might need to drill out the motor mount too. So I'm going to go ahead and take the motor mount off there. So I need to take off the spur gear here. We've got the spur gear. I have 2 screws to remove the motor mount, it looks like. Alright, so now we can do whatever we need to do to the motor mount. As you can see, it had a spacer there for that motor that was on there before. Get it to focus. Alright, let me just go get my box of screws and I'll be back and figure out what we need. So this motor does indeed take M3 screws, as you can see. And the thing about the M3 screws is they're bigger than the stock mounting holes, as you can see. So I'm just going to go drill those out. Be back in a second. So all I actually needed to make these holes big enough for this screw was this little hand drill and this bit. The bit, let me tell you the size of the bit. It is 1/8, I think. I can barely read that. Pretty sure it was a 1/8. Anyways, that's all I needed to make those holes bigger. So that was pretty simple. So now I just need to find the right length screw. And we can get this motor attached. What does it take? Oh, left those in the wrong place. Perfect. Sorry about that, my battery cut out there. So now let's go get this mounted here. It is a good idea to use thread locker. I haven't at the moment because I will be taking this motor back out of here before I put my new pinion on. But I would definitely suggest using thread locker. So there we go. Got some adjustability in our motor mount there. That's good to have. We can go ahead and start putting this back together. So it's just the reverse steps of taking the spur gear off to get that back on there. I shall put that on after. Just went in like this. Alright. hole lined up. Ah, come on. Time for that to go back on, that little sleeve, spur gear to go on, spring, and then a nut. Get that on there nice and tight. Alright. It's good to get that taken care of now. Let's see about getting this sat back in here properly. I think it's easiest to put the cover back on first. Actually, I don't need to worry about this cover, as I'm going to be doing some more stuff and I need to put a new spur gear on there anyways. So I guess we can just go straight ahead and screw the whole assembly back into the chassis. Oh, before we screw that back into the chassis, don't want to forget the front drive shaft. Keep dropping body pins on the floor. This isn't the greatest view at the moment, I know. Ah, crap. Get in there. There we go. There we go. Now I got the front drive shaft in. Now we can go ahead and screw the whole assembly down there. Alright, so the new speed controller, we'll just get it plugged into the motor right here. These wires tucked in. So that would be channel 2. Steering servo would be channel 1. And the shifting servo would be channel 3. Now I know I haven't stuck down the speed controller or the receiver, but that's okay, that can come later. This is basically now converted to brushless. The only problem we have still is the pinion, which couldn't do today, so hopefully soon I will make another video when I do get this thing completely finished up for being brushless. But there's a basic brushless conversion of the HBX thruster. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.